and Michael Lehmann and Daniel Waters.
Woo!
I'm going closer to my friends. Once again, Daniel Waters, Michael Lehmann. Holy shit. Just right off the bat, how does it feel
I
to...
can't use that choice no order. I can't. But no, it was amazing seeing the movie with laughter.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw the movie a ton when you guys were making it. I have never seen a screening like this. Tell me how it feels. Like,
Because you got it. So people came in thinking they were seeing Die Hard 3. And then the Mona Lisa smiles, and I'm like, what the fuck do we do? They didn't say, let's go with it. They just said, oh, fuck, you got dead.
I'm going to watch this movie going, what the fuck were these people thinking? No, this is, the humor, I guess, is a little bit more contemporary to today than it was then. Is that possible to say that? I don't know. Or else it's a rigged audience. You guys, how much do they pay?
But no, it definitely, it's funny you brought up Mona Lisa. Like I saw you, I was sitting behind him. It was great to sit behind him because I could see him like, but the second she smiled and the audience laughed, it was one of those things like, holy fuck, we're safe. We're safe.
And this was an intake of breath before. But still, there's some people sitting around me where like there were still some lines that Hudson Hawk, you won't have a trial, and there will be no bailiff. Like what?
There's a lot of stuff in there, Dan, that you didn't write also, that just got in there through various stuff, and it's cringe-worthy quite often.
I think there was no cringing tonight. I think I played like gangbusters.
I still like that. Do you want me to rate them still? Still a smoke bomb in there.
Wow.
There's like a slither graph of people laughing. It was like, wait, we were enjoying this movie.
And then people laughed 5 minutes after. You could see that line had a reaction and kept on reacting and kept on reacting.
And everybody here laughed when he said, you want
Not everybody.
So you guys made Heathers. You guys made Heathers. You guys were the hippest. How did this happen? How did you guys? I mean, you worked for Joel Silver first, but then you came in. How did you get attached to this movie?
3 movies with Joel Silver. What am I doing?
No, I got sent the script, and I said, this script is ridiculous. This is the kind of movie that nobody wants to see. I'll make it. Partly it seemed like it was the perfect vehicle to turn the genre completely upside down, and I knew Dan would do that funnier than anybody else, and I said, yeah, I'll do the movie, but I'm going to turn it into something different. These were huge mistakes, you have to understand. Terrible.
But this was like a Bruce Willis dream project, correct? It was like he'd been dreaming for years. He was waiting for his moment in the sun.
He dreamt about the character, Hudson Hawk. And that speech that he gives when he's getting a massage, that's all Bruce. But he didn't really have a lot more than that. He didn't say, let's put this in a crazy Mario Brothers.
But he was open. He loved the idea. Bruce loved the idea. Joel loved the idea. They all said, "That's fantastic. That's brilliant. Everybody's gonna love this movie. It's gonna be completely unexpected, and it's gonna be funny, and it's gonna turn everything upside down."
Yeah. Well, what movie did you think you were making when you were making it? I guess from the casting of Colburn, I'm thinking of President's Analyst.
Yes, and in Mike Flynn. Yeah. That's a big.
Yes, all of the above.
A lot of others.
Back in the day, we used to watch dailies. We all watched dailies together, and Joel would sit in the middle, and he always turn around. I get it now. It's North by Northwest with the lead of Moonlighted. I get it Bond movie.
Three Stooges.
It's like, we don't get it now.
You know, watching it this time though, I do have to say Bruce is fantastic. I mean, he's so funny, and he's got, you know, I mean, it's like I understand there was a lot of trouble with Bruce Willis on this movie, but you guys, I mean, he's really great in this film.
Well, there's a reason why he was a movie star, you know?
Until this movie.
Settle back a little bit.
Michael, talk about the casting, because the rest of the cast is unfucking real. I mean, the Pregnant with Mayflowers, talk about the Mayflowers. How did those people, how did that happen?
We had seen How to Get Ahead in Advertising and, you know, Richard Grant, and somewhere along the way thought, wouldn't that be great to get him in here as a villain? I remember we went to Joel and said, both Dan and I, you know, we're way on board for this. And Joel said, I don't know. And then he looked at How to Get Ahead in Advertising. He looked at Whitnell and I, or both, and he said, oh, I get this.
And
And
you just watched that opening conference room scene. How to
yeah,
Get an Advertising.
that's right.
And we read a lot of people. We had a lot of fun mix and matches of actors and actresses reading together.
We did. A lot of people wanted to be in this movie. You know, it was a big
great
budget action movie. They send me thank you letters every week for this casting.
Well, talk about me on set. I mean, was there ever a day you said, give me more? I mean,
Honestly, you know, this was the first time that I could laugh at Richard and Sandra. You know, because I never wanted them to go quite that far. But there was kind of no stopping them. And Bruce, by the way, well, first of all, they were frustrated. They were in Budapest and sitting around with the way actors do, and they were very unhappy and very uncomfortable. And when we would work with Bruce and Richard Grant, Bruce would sometimes be doing the off-camera, telling him like, get bigger, making faces, and I'm directing this thing going, what the fuck is going on? And then I'd see him doing this. He was pushing them, and I said, Bruce, this is not, it's not your place to push these actors to go that far. He goes, well, you know, I'm a producer on the movie, I can do whatever I want. So there was a lot of, it was complicated, you know. But they are really, I mean, they're brilliantly funny, and what Dan wrote for them was amazing. She was great.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
They together were kind of evil though.
They pushed each other.
Yeah, they liked to. I mean, I just remember rehearsals and anybody bringing them coffee, or they would make fun of and chew them out. Like, and God Lord, anytime a PA had a suggestion, they would solemnly like nod and, you know, I think that's gonna be the best idea in the whole film. And they would just break out in the Mayflower cackle.
Yeah. It was a mixture of chemicals that you don't want to take.
Well, Dan, I mean, it's one of those weird things. This is such a crazy, big budgeted, like Bruce Willis movie, but it feels such a Dan Waters thing at the same time. So to talk about it, I think every single line just seems like wow. Even lines you didn't write feel like you. Yeah, that probably happened. That's not
That's
your
not
line.
me, but that should be the title of the book. Yeah, no, I've always said that working with Joel Silver has always been interesting because we kind of love each other. We like the movie. We like fucking with movies. We like fucking with genres. We like anything. We like anything for a laugh. Anything to move the climax to the next scene. Like, we don't believe in 3-act structures. We believe in 19-act structures. So we got along well, but there was something dangerous about us. Like, I would put it, like I always say, compared to putting a giraffe on a rhinoceros' head. You people in the audience are like, giraffe and a rhinoceros' head, that's so cool, that's so fucking cool. People are like, shoot it, shoot it! Rhinoceros' head. Oh, by the way, if you passed my test I did earlier, you saw there's a picture of a monkey on Things Cover Instead. We just, for those who don't know, there was a whole subplot of Little Eddie the monkey.
That was shot.
Well, we had to shoot. That was Bruce's idea.
Daniel says, like he says, "Where's my little Eddie? Where's my monkey?" And Danielle's got to show him a newspaper that he got killed in the gangland hit.
This was the little monkey that Hudson Hawk would use to break into places. You know, it was that trick. It lets the monkey in, and little Eddie, and he opens the door, and that sort of thing.
And
So
then James Coburn reveals that he killed little Eddie. So at the end, before he hurls off the castle, Bruce Willis slaps a picture of Eddie on his forehead and says, "Say hello to little Eddie, motherfucker."
Did he lick the thing and stick it? He licked it and stuck it on his forehead. And we cleverly cut around that, except for there was no way out of that shot. That is where he's on top of the car, because we didn't have digital. There were no digital effects back
Oh my
then.
God, Eureka motherfuckers was funny.
Yeah, that was good.
It's mine.
I say release the Little Eddie cut.
That footage does not exist anymore.
Oh.
Honestly.
It always
There was
exists.
somebody angry on social media saying, well, why was little Eddie cut out? Like, the question is, why wasn't a lot more cut out? Steve Souza gets credit because he came up with all these different, the parole officer and all this, but like, can't I get rid of one? Like, everybody cast Bruce's best friend is one of the Mario brothers. Like, can I get one step?
There are a lot of villains in this picture.
Yes. The parole officer, by the way, who never acted again. He was the first AD in every great New York movie there is.
Sidney Lumet's first AD. Bert Harris. Yeah, a classic New York first AD, and everybody said, "Oh yeah, you're casting Bert Harris." Yeah. He loves to act. Yeah, good luck. No, seriously, and everybody in New York knew him. He was great. He would show up in these shorts. You remember he on the hot New York days. This is a grown man showing up in these little hot pants shorts. Who is this guy? But he would be a vlogger.
Like all the first ADs in the film, he was killed. We went through a lot of them.
We went through two of them then.
Yeah, each city.
Well, here's a question related to that. Was there a moment that you knew things were slipping away? That was there a moment like, wait a second, maybe it wasn't a good idea. Thank God I got Dan in there with me, but we're like, what did you know things were going wrong?
I woke up in a hotel room in somewhere in Rimini in Italy, and I was beat to death by this movie, and I looked at the call sheet. They used to take a call sheet and slip it under your hotel door, right? You get up, and I got up, it was like 6 in the morning, and I looked and it said, day 50 of 105. Oh, and I said, oh my God, what have I done? What did I do to deserve this? That was the hardest day of my life.
Joe, I had this whole thing that Jackson DeGovia, the production designer, was going to be his masterpiece. It was my favorite part of the script, action-wise, to write. Well, a third act involving robbing in Moscow a spinning safe, where on one side Hudson Hawk would be with stuff they got at 7-Eleven, and the other side the high-tech equipment and CIA. This is the spinning safe scene is going to be great. Joe comes to me and says, that spinning safe sequence in Moscow, you got to cut it so it can all take place in Andy McDowell's apartment.
And Christopher Nolan came in 20 years later and did a whole movie about that.
But yeah, now it's like, hey, look what we did at the Louvre last night.
Yes, that's right. By the way, we stole that thing.
Which is a funny scene.
But what's weird is you guys were shooting in Budapest for a long time because that was supposed to take the place of the Red Square, right?
Yes,
Or-
that's why, because it was so Moscow friendly.
Right, so-
For a movie without Moscow.
We went all the way there to shoot the Kremlin scene that got cut long before we shot, but we would committed to Budapest, so we shot there. This was 1989, I think, so it was a different Budapest than you go to today. It was very interesting.
What was the relationship with the studio while you were making this movie? How were they during all this?
It was poignant.
It was warm and loving when Mike Medavoy came up to me in Rome and said on the set while I was shooting, he said, Bruce Willis will work again, Joel Silver will work again.
Wow.
And I went, holy fuck, really? Are you actually saying that to
Are you actually
me?
gonna end the sentence?
Yeah, in between takes, and then, you know, and Medavoy was a very interesting guy and brilliant and a great executive, and I felt bad about it. But then at dinner that night, I said, "Are you kidding me? That's such a cliche. Are you really going to say I'll never work with you? Oh, I was just trying to scare you." You know. That was a very.
And you said I've seen the dailies.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't mean that. I love to do Batman movies. So
Right.
Fuck you, Michael. I did meet Mike Medavoy at the first test screening, which Bruce wanted to try out the 2.5-hour cut to see if all the jokes worked. Not recommended.
Don't do that when you make a comedy.
And the scene in Andy McDowell's apartment with the bombs, Anthony Mario, the Mario brother with the syringes in his face, comes in the end of the scene with Band-Aids all over his face. And he says, "I got you," and he blows up too. The deafening sound of silence. Bruce never made a comment about what cut we should test after that. And of course, that test screen is famous for. And
Yes, you must tell that. I'm sorry, you brought up a test screen. You have to tell the test screen story. Scott and I were there.
There was a woman in a wheelchair. Fucking bitch. She tried to walk out. She tried to zoom out. She got caught on the carpet. None of the test curtains were already dropping.
It was like a third into the film, and this wheelchair lady in the front row just turns around. And the entire audience stopped watching the movie, and they watched it.
I thought she was going to get up and go, "I can walk." She'd seen the end of Heathers, and she was there with her wheelchair.
So this movie had an afterlife. This movie is, obviously tonight people love this movie. I've actually never experienced what they used. I mean, what happened tonight is really. But do you remember when you, or maybe it still hasn't happened yet, you felt a sense of relief that, oh my God, maybe people like this movie, or it's no longer punishing you anymore?
It's weird. People have always been coming out of the woodwork for me. Less so with Michael, but I'm starting to catch up with Michael. But it's funny. It's never like Heathers is great. It's always like, come here for a second. I was at a barbecue and I met Seth Green, and Seth Green's like, "Danny Waters, hey, come over here." Just make sure nobody's watching him. Hudson Hawk is a master. Should we tell the others? No.
First time I noticed it was you and I were in Spain together. We were having dinner with. There's a great Spanish director named Alex de la Iglesia.
Oh, that's right.
And we were having dinner, and he didn't know exactly who Dan was at the time. And Dan said, "Oh, I wrote this other book called Hudson Hawk." And literally, Alex de la Iglesia, we're in this packed restaurant, stood up and dropped to his knees. Oh my God!
Well, Europeans like me never met a tone they didn't like. They can take an action movie that becomes ridiculous. Like it's the Americans with the white glove test. So I find that we get like everyone I met from Denmark thinks Hudson Hawk's masterpiece.
All three of them. We're gonna borrow that for Greenland. But
Keep
it's,
the negative.
yeah. It's true that the Europeans have been a little bit more kindly towards the movie. There was a French relative who came to my house and saw the poster and went, Hudson Hawk. But, when we were making the film and we were in Europe, obviously we shot most of it in Europe, nobody knew who Bruce Willis was. It was really funny. In the casting, they would go, Bruce Willis, because for some reason Moonlighting I guess didn't play and Die Hard, and so I had to explain to all the European actresses that we were reading for Andy McDowell's part who Bruce Willis was. Seriously. Yeah, but I guess he became famous later.
I'm going to take a couple questions out here because we can. Yes, right there, front row.
Well, I have loved this movie since I saw it in theaters in '91, and so it was great to see it with a full house tonight. I have a question about two lines. One was, am I as fat as that guard? Yours?
Jeez, of all the lines. They went down a rabbit hole with those.
Okay.
I mean, they had one and they really gilded the lily.
And the other is, of course, the hat convention. Did you have a lot of other alts for that?
No, that's all Bruce, I think.
Yeah.
But it reminds me of, because it got a big laugh tonight.
Yes.
Who wears the penis? And I guess I know. Michael will tell you that was a very hard day at the set because Bruce kept saying, "Who's got the dick?"
Yeah. And I would say, Bruce, that's great. We got that. We got that in 3 or 4 different angles. And we've got it in the master, and we've got it in all the close-ups. Let's try the line that Dan wrote. and Bruce would say, yeah, okay. Then we'd roll and go, who's got the dick? But we did, in defense of that, we did get the line that Dan wrote, and it's in the movie.
You talk about shutting down the Brooklyn Bridge, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
How many days did you shoot on Brooklyn Bridge?
Oh my God, it was 5 days.
We shot 5 nights on Brooklyn Bridge. I'm pretty sure that was a very complicated sequence to shoot. And
Make sure the New York audience hates us already.
yeah, people were
That was the
shooting
movie-
at
That was
us.
the movie that closed down the bridge for 5 days. I'm gonna go see it and be real mean to it.
We had to.
I'm not gonna laugh.
The other thing, lighting the Brooklyn Bridge for that sequence.
Yeah.
The original DP was Jos Vacano, and he was the king of fluorescent lights. He used a lot of fluorescent lights. So he had a team of riggers go and string fluorescent lights across the entire length of the Brooklyn Bridge. And it took days of rigging. And when that happened, they had to shut the bridge down at night. So everybody in New York hated us. They hated us so badly, but then we got back at them by putting a toll plaza at the end of the bridge, which does not exist. There's no toll plaza.
All right, who else? Yes, you second round.
So, was the song and dance stuff, was that Bruce's idea? Or
That's all me, baby.
Oh, that's
Honestly, that was what cracked open the script, like his format for me. Like, I was like trying to not make a usual action movie, and I'm like, I was just getting the vibe from Bruce and Joel that they wanted, and I started getting that Hope Crosby vibe, and I didn't choose the song.
Yeah, were there other songs that you
Yeah,
were...
Inagata Vita was my first one.
20 minutes and 40 seconds.
Actually, wasn't Bohemian Rhapsody suggested at one point?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And then Susie stole it for
She's in a good movie.
Exactly. Thank God they didn't use it. How about right there?
Longtime fan. There haven't been a ton of sources.
Alonzo, I recognize that voice. You said you were going to make it tonight.
The universe made it possible, so I'm thrilled to be here. There weren't a lot of sources in people writing about this movie, talking about this movie. One of the longer pieces was in Richard E. Grant's published diaries with nails, and I wonder if you guys,
What? I never saw that.
found an
really?
honest
I'll
account
take a
or
look.
not.
Richard Grant's autobiography is kind of mean to you guys, isn't it?
That's all right.
It's based in fact. So,
It's the eternal question. Can you call the truth mean?
we did have a very funny meeting with him the first time in a hotel in London. Remember that, where he said, "You guys are younger than me." He was obsessed with the fact that we were young, and
We were undergrads.
that we were undergrads and something. But still,
But he was a lot nicer than Stephen Burkhoff.
Oh, Stephen Burkhoff, not bad.
Stephen Burke, I told Michael, no, we can't go to Stephen Burkhoff to play the butler. It's too small a role. And then, no, he wants to meet with us. And he just, you little kids. Little boys are having so much fun, aren't you? He just came to just like grind us up and eat us.
Wow. It's in the middle there.
Huge fan, and I'm wondering what's the origin of Nintendo and the Mario Brothers.
Oh God, it's so lame. It's, it's all mine too. I was just, it's coming up with shit he would miss in prison,
Right.
and it's somehow less lame now. It's cute now, but there was another thing that made people hate us.
I remember a draft where Hudson Hawk got out of prison and he really wanted to see Miss Saigon. He took out this Broadway show that he just opened. We were going to see Miss Saigon. And Joe made you cut it. And you thought you were being clever because Miss Saigon hadn't opened yet. And you were like, we're gonna be ahead of the curve. And Joe was like, what if it flops? You gotta take that out. Am I crazy?
We saved the movie.
yeah,
Yes, yes.
Dan, at one point when people were
Eric
talking
Garner.
about, at one point when people were talking about the movie and saying you're sorry, you put the box office on your refrigerator because I think it made money. I think like when people would come up and say, "Oh, I'm so sorry about it," it's like the movie made money. What the fuck are you talking about? That was one point. Is
No,
that
I think
correct?
it made more money than Drop Dead Fred, which also opened that weekend. Backdrafted Thelma Louise didn't open that weekend, just Drop Dead Fred.
and Thelma and Louise.
It's not Thelma Louise.
All right, I'll fight
All right,
guys.
fine. Erica did make money. And Bruce used to always tell people when they criticized the movie that in fact it was in profits and all that sort of thing. I was in a meeting actually with Barry Josephson, who was worked with Joel at the time, and I was in a meeting with Dan. I think you were in this meeting, right? And
It did make money and it didn't hurt my career at all.
yeah, exactly. But I made a joke about losing more money for the Sony Corporation than any other director, and he pulled me aside and said, "Don't ever say that. You wouldn't be in this room if that were true." And I was shocked because I actually thought we had lost money, but he said they made a lot of money off this film, so they never paid us anymore.
Yes, Jeff.
The movie's crazy. I've always loved it. What do you remember as, for each of you, your most surreal day while on this hugely long shoot? And I know that there were many, but what was your most surreal day? Dan, maybe a rewrite that you were doing in the middle of production.
Well, definitely, like I said, that apartment scene was a bit surreal, like saving us 2 months of production. But let's see. Yeah, also just walking across the Brooklyn Bridge in my socks, calling my mom. New Yorkers cursed me. I thought that was pretty fun. I'm in my socks, Mom, on the Brooklyn Bridge.
Yeah, every day was surreal.
Also, I wrote I found a documentary of Scorsese's, early Scorsese documentary, and I watched it in my office with Sandra Bernard, and he keeps talking about King of Comedy was a failure. I blew it. And he's since come around on it, but I had to watch with Sandra, so that was a bad day too.
Right.
Dan, is the transition where Bruce falls through the awning into the chair, is that yours?
North by Northwest, baby.
No. One of my favorite transitions in all movies, so I just think it's, and there's it's not addressed in any way.
No.
And we also had a line where they're standing on the building looking down, and they say, "The fall will probably kill you."
That's right.
Which is a salute to Butch Cassidy and kid. Rob Reiner, it was in the trailer, first trailer. Rob Reiner, who's a great guy, and I'm not gonna say anything bad about him.
Oh no.
He says, "They stole that from William Goldner." And he went all around town and he called Joel and he called the head of TriStar. They stole that from William Goldner. It was an homage! I'm glad he's dead, but that was bad.
I knew you couldn't get on it. I knew you couldn't get on it. Is there anyone in the back? Because I haven't seen anyone in the back. No, there's not. So you.
Do you still have Captain Bob's steering wheel? Or
Captain Bob's steering
skateboards,
wheel?
or did you keep anything from the movie?
Oh wow. What do you have from the movie?
What might I have from the movie?
TriStar had these promo things. It says Hudson Hawk on the front, and in the back it says Bunny Ball Ball. It's near my bedside.
I'm being told to wrap it up. Any last words? Anything you want to say that?
Thank you for laughing.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Lehmann.